Hello, welcome back. A few days ago, Google Comics posted a question about books with more than two staples that he had, and I want to point out what could be the reason for them. I own a few books that have four staples, and I will show you. This is an example of Spider Woman number one. Let me show you the inside. As you can see right there, the interior of the book show two staples that was not attached to the cover, and then you have two fresh staple that was added to the book. And then if you go to the centerfold, as you can see, there are visibly four staples. What causes this? I found out the answer actually very recently because I bought this book a while ago, and I had a few other books that had the same issue, so I posted that question to someone and got the answer, and I will pass on the answer for you guys. Basically what happened is, through the production process, sometime the machine screwed up and some books were produced without the cover. You also seen books with multiple covers, so I am only guessing here. I'm speculating that for every books that have multiple covers, there are books that didn't have a cover. So at the end, when they go through the pile of books and they spot the few books that missed a cover, they put it back through production line to add the cover. So that's how you ended up with four staples and a cover. And one very common telltales of this flaws is, you notice the overhang. This is what I call some people call this overcover or overhang, is on the bottom edge of the books as well as on all the side of the book. For some reason, seems like every issue that I have that have four covers, the cover doesn't fit the interior very well, because they were cut at a different time. And comic book production back then was just not a very precise process. Okay, so hopefully that answered the question for you guys, which brings me to the next topic of production related issues. Here is an example of Spider-Man 51. For those that collect and have a lot of Silver Age, even Bronze Age books, you notice that most of these books have what I call overhang on the top edge. Okay, as you can see, basically the top cover is slightly bigger than the interior. Sometimes you see this on the right edge also, and then rarely do you see it on the bottom edge. I don't know why. I don't know the precise process of how books are produced, so I just want to point out that's what they are. And CGC is very lenient with the flaws at the overhang. For those that collect Silver Age, you will notice that there are a lot of time the overhangs are bent in, curled in, or even has some minor tears, like this one here has a little bit, and that's fairly common. Sure, there are some downgrade to those, but not as much as people think. I have seen many books in 9/4 slabs that have pretty visible overhang. Sure, if the overhang resulted in a crease that lost color, that show the whites, then it will be downgraded accordingly. But curling, bending at the overhang are not a big deal. Not as big of a deal as many people think. Back in the old days, you have to understand that comic books are disposable entertainment. So they were printed cheaply using cheap papers, cheap inks, and the process to produce them were not very precise because it's not something that anyone care that much. That's why you have a lot of miswrapped, misprint, miscut books, because it was not some of it is machine made, but some of the flaws are man made because whoever it is that's supposed to deal with quality control didn't really pay enough attention to lining up everything correctly. That's my guess. I could be wrong there, but you had to understand that comic book producing process back in the 60s, 70s are just not very good. As a result of that, what you have is a very imprecise product. I have here 3 copies of Spider-Man 51. Sadly, I have 3 copies. Don't ask me why. I don't need 3. The truth is I have 4. So I need to get rid of 3 of them eventually. But as you can see, even if you stack up 3 books together, you see that they are slightly at different heights. All of them have overhangs, as you can see. It's almost rare to see Silver Age book without any kind of overhang. Okay, as you can see, they are slightly different height, and of course, they all align differently, and the staples are in different location of all of them. So as you can see, they are not perfectly aligned vertically as well as horizontally. They're not exactly lined up either if you line them up that way, which bring the next topic, something very difficult to spot. Someone asked me before about trimming and how do you spot trimming as a restoration. Trimming is a procedure that's done by scammers, for the lack of a better word, to try to cut away the bad part of the book and make the book to appear high grades. Okay, that's it. There's no other reason to trim the book but to try to cut away the bad part and try to make it appear as if it's higher grade. So I'm sure you all have seen CGC slab with the purple restore label as well as a notation trim. But because of what I just showed here, okay, trying to measure up a book side by side with even the same issues is not a sure way to spot trimming. I do not know how CGC does it. I can tell you a few few things that I perform to try to figure out if something is trimmed or not. Okay, so as you can see, all 3 of these books exhibit overhang. So even though they're not lined up in the same height, I'm confident that they may not have been trimmed. Nothing is certain, okay? Until I send this book into CGC, I do not know. Okay, but take a look at these 2 books. Okay, I line them up. As you can see, here's an X-Men 8, my nemesis. Look at the significant difference here on these 2 books. You notice that the one that is a shorter book has no overhang whatsoever. The cover is flush against the interior. This book is trimmed for certain. Okay, I can tell you with certainty that this book has been trimmed because all the edges have been trimmed and is smaller in all dimensions. But that is how I am able to spot some trim job You know, on the right side of the book is very difficult to spot trim, but this one is also trim on the right side. You know, so the top and the right side is trim on this book. But hopefully what you can get away from this video is, if you see a silver edge book that show no overhang whatsoever, and if you line it up with another book, the same issue, and you see something like this, there's a high chance that this book has been trimmed. Okay, so be very careful out there when you see silver edge book, even bronze book, for sure golden age book. You know, there's a lot of trimming that was going on back in the 70s and 80s on these books. So here you go. So as you can see, X-Men number 8 is one of my worst book. I have page missing. I have books that's trim. Yikes. Anyhow, I hope the video was useful. Thanks for watching. Bye.